Hey y'all, good afternoon and welcome to another version of Winedown Wednesday with Kecia. And tonight we're going to unpack a very interesting topic about how our women are hypersexualized in today's society. And I have two boisterous people on here that I know they're going to get into a debate about it. But I do have a wine to introduce tonight. So I have Hill Harbor. This is a Pinot Noir. This wine it's a kind of like a little bitter wine. It's filled with like cherries and raspberries. And whenever you can tell when it's a bitter wine, when it says that it has earthy tones, that's how you know you're gonna have like a dry, bitter taste of a red wine. This wine is about $20. And of course, you can find that you can purchase this one on Hill and Harbor's website. They always have like a little special going on where you get the chocolates. This is actually one of the wines that I received from my little male who sent me the wine on my job. So it was about $70 for the red and the white wine together. So I'm gonna let my guests introduce themselves, and you know them already, but I'm gonna reintroduce them to people who don't know. So we can start with Mr. Bryson over there.
I done been on here so many times, um, but I guess allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Bryson Shelton. I'm a good friend of Keisha's and I guess a podcaster at this point.
So, well, yeah, I done enlist everybody as podcasters. Y'all could
Hmm.
get some more people to come on here. So, and Mel is in there somewhere. I don't know where she's going to, but she in there somewhere. And she's a repetitive offender as well. Um, she's a community advocate, and she's like I said, she has very strong opinions about this every topic that we have. So, guys, I want to start off by since a lot of us may not know what hypersexual what that means. I think I need to give you a definition on what hyper what does that mean.
Wait, what is
So
tonight's topic?
tonight's topic is sexy or silence, the hypersexualization of women in 2025.
All right.
That is tonight's topic. So for some reason, when it's not allowing me to change the settings, so I did try to go into that. I don't know what's happening. So if you want somebody else to see it, you need to share it to your page if you want other people to see it. So I thought I fixed the little edits in there, but I'm still having these little technical difficulties. So it's literally recording, and after we finish, then it'll show to people on there. People on YouTube and Instagram can see us live, so you may not be able to see their comments. So we just gonna unhash this conversation. So, um, hypersexualization. Okay, it attributes to a sexual or erotic characteristics to someone or something to an extreme or inappropriate degree. It has a couple of different meanings, and then it also says you can be rendered. I think I read that one. It's basically the same thing. Well, it's basically saying the same thing. Attributes to sexual or erotic characteristics to someone or something to an extreme or inappropriate degree, and that's the verb meaning of it. And then there's an adjective meaning, which means it's rendered or viewed as sexual or erotic to an excessive or inappropriate degree. So some of the talking points tonight is what does hypersexuality look like in 2025, and it talks about how social media trends and thirst traps, body challenges that like the baddie program. You ever saw the baddies on Zeus?
No.
So there's
I
a
don't really
program
watch
on
reality.
that
I
comes
don't
on.
really
It's called
watch
the
reality TV like
You
that.
don't watch reality.
Nah,
Well, Natalie Nunn produces
I
this.
think it's pollution of the mind, and that's why,
It
you know women
and
have lost their minds
it
in the
is
year
very
2025.
yes, and it's very exploitive of our African American women, and not just African American women. I think women of color. They've had a couple of Caucasians on there. So these young ladies come on. They literally look like prostitutes the way they dress. Like they are really hypersexualized on here. Like you can see half, like they're naked. They dress. You know how little Kim used to dress back in the day when
Uh-huh.
she was on stage. That's how they
Yeah.
dress on this show. And they go out and they promote shows and they just wilding out. They drinking, they smoking weed, they getting high. So they're like idolized. So you have teenagers that's watching this show. So and they're very fluent. Like they be from a woman's mouth to a man's mouth. It don't matter. When they get high and they get drunk, they either fighting or they fucking. One of the two. Sometimes both.
And see,
So
this is where the social work in me, and the conscious black man I am, right? Is like that form of exploitation is what we're ingesting, but nobody like putting. We'll talk about it, or they being raunchy, da 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 da. But then you're still watching it. If nobody watches that stuff, then it doesn't have the platform or the staying power. So we perpetuating that stuff on our own by even indulging and watching it.
yeah, and then the
for the sake of
more
entertainment.
But it's more than
but it's
entertainment. Like we
mm,
keep labeling
But that's why they watch
everything.
it.
We keep labeling everything as entertainment when we know a lot of stuff is a form of, I'm gonna use this term, mind control or manipulation of the thought process, right?
Hmm.
Like we'll say it's just entertainment, but we watching entertainment turn into life, right? Like Keisha
mhm,
brought up a minute ago, Lil Kim used to dress the way she dressed in the 90s, and that was considered provocative at the time, right?
Yeah.
But I could go log on to my social media page right now, and I guarantee you I won't scroll past 5 posts before that way of dressing is common. That's just what they're doing now.
Yeah.
yeah, and then we have others that are that low key sexualize themselves because social media plays a major part in that too, because you go on there and you have people like I had somebody ask me about how many likes you get when you do this X, Y, and Z. But the thing is, for
Hmm.
me, it's not about the likes, how many
The
likes
like.
I get. It's about
Hmm.
how many views I'm getting. So those likes means validation to some people. So they get on there, you posing sexy, you giving provocative, you
Hmm.
giving I want, or I'm giving you something sex intentionally doing that, then that plays a major part into these, like I see a lot of young girls and they on, like I watch TikTok a lot, and they always talking about how the older women are mad with them because we're jealous because they can wear the tight dresses, they can wear their bodies out, they can wear the clothes. So we mad
Hmm.
because they getting a man, they taking our men from us. But for me, if that's how you want to be more seen than you are heard, because I feel like that's the only way you feel like you can be heard. You already you being
They don't want to
seen.
be heard. They just want to be seen. For
Exactly.
my idea about this, and I, I have two sides of it, I guess, because I'm not an overly provocative dresser, but in my teenage years, in the 90s, before it was a thing, I was, because I just liked what I like. I liked to wear what I liked. I wore the short shorts. I wore, see-through shirts with just the colorful bras and stuff like that. I did that early on. And it's just that was what I liked. But now I see things and I'm like, whoa, but I'm not judgmental because I also look at the concept for me. We come from a people where nakedness was not sexualized. You understand? So the sexualization of the bodies as they are comes from a whole nother concept. You understand? For me. So I look at it on all sides because it's about the mindset, the upbringing. We know where the over sexualization of our people comes from, as a whole.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it
we know we know how propaganda, if you don't know how well propaganda is to the fact that we are the violent people. We are the ones who just have all these babies and don't take care of them and all of these things. But when you look at the numbers, that's not the reality of it. You understand? So it's a lot in that basket for me. Like it's so many different variables in that basket for me. Self-worth and things, because we have some people, because put it this way, and if you understand that the most beautiful is woman gets cheated on. You understand? So it's
yeah.
just like it's about self-worth. And I'm the type of person I could care less what someone else thinks or whatever. Like, you know, I'm like 350, but I'll put on a two-piece, at the beach. You understand?
Mhm.
Some people ain't won't don't want to see that, but some people do. I know my husband do. But it's
Mhm.
outside of my husband. It's some other people who gonna like to see that. So it's just, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and it's a lot of work that has to be done for our people, just in a whole, when it
Mhm.
comes to those mentalities and understanding of sexualizations of bodies. Because come on now, we have sickness out there with the sexual demons and things, because you know people sexualize children. Come on now, so it's a lot when it comes down
Like
to.
they did with the little girl, Miss Shirley. Like they did with
Uh-huh.
Miss Shirley. They made
Mhm.
a whole thing about this little girl. She's playing dress up. Her mama has her
Mhm.
like she's a, like
Mhm.
was famous, popular on TikTok. So she did a
Yeah.
red dress challenge where she dressed up in
Mhm.
her mama's red dress. She didn't have
Mhm.
any body part showing with her mama's high heels on pearls. Things little girls do every day, play dress up.
We did.
And they had
I
a
did
man
that.
on
Putting
there
on the
calling
wigs, the shoes,
child.
everything.
Yes. And he
We
called
all did that.
CPS on his mother because he
Yeah.
said the mother was sexualizing the child and exploiting her. Now, for me, that's a sick thing because when you see this child dressed up in a
Why are you thinking
plain
that?
dress up, she didn't even have makeup on. So why would you even be thinking
Why are you
something
even
like
thinking
that?
that? Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
that
don't even know what y'all talking about, but I would ask this question as a man. How did the dress fit this little girl? When y'all say it was her mama dress, was it her mama dress and they got it altered to be her dress, right?
No,
And was
she
it
just dressed up. That girl, she like 5 years old. Shirley ain't even five.
because I asked
The
that
no.
baby.
because this conversation at first I was like, here we go with another topic that don't have nothing to do with me as a man, right?
Hmm.
Because I
Uh-huh.
came to the understanding 15 years ago that we don't have a say in how y'all look. We don't have a say in what y'all do. Like
Yeah.
when weave became popular, right? Men were saying in alarming numbers, we don't care for that look, right? We
Hmm.
prefer a woman that's closer to like natural, right? And women in a loud voice said, we don't care. We not doing it for y'all, right? Um, we will say we want something left to the imagination, right?
Hmm.
Women will say, we don't care. I'm fine and I won't put it out there, right? So I
Mm.
feel like women have hypersexualized themselves, right? And then when they get what they
Yes.
get for hypersexualizing themselves, then they won't cry victim, right? Because this my thing. If I'm in a club,
Cry victim
right?
how?
Because they call victim because the attention they start getting. Like I'm gonna give you a for sure instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we gonna rewind time about eight. I'm not even gonna go that far back, about 5 to 7 years ago, right? So now all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden, women used to take pictures facing the camera with their hands on their hips, being sexy, whatever kind of way they were gonna be sexy, right? Then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden,
Mm-hmm.
the clothes got tighter, and your pose is a sideways pose, so we as men can see your ass, right? The end
Uh-huh.
result of that is now you got
Yep.
30 niggas in your inbox sending you sexually explicit stuff and possibly pictures and stuff like that. So then you want to jump back on social media and scream,
Mm-hmm.
stay out of my inbox, you thirsty ass niggas. You see what I'm saying, right? But you put it out there in the first place for the attention. And once you got the attention, now you saying, oh my God, y'all are so thirsty. Why y'all in my inbox like that? It's like, sweetie, you can't have it both ways. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I'm gonna be on the on a different side of the thing. So unless she literally got her ass out, you feel me, like some thongs and got her ass out, but a pose with some clothes on just because you're turned a certain way because that's the pose that everybody's doing. It's a little sexual. It shows your shape and all that, but that doesn't mean a guy should jump in my inbox and say something about eating my cat or something like that. You understand?
I mean,
That's
I
the
don't think it should
it's
either, but
a
you have to
difference.
know as an adult that that's a
As an adult,
repercussion of you posting what you
that's
post.
not a repercussion
That's
because
like
that
if I
also
get on social
that
media
opens
and
up the concept of understanding a woman can be walking down the street in a nice dress, but it's form fitting, right? And a man will catcall her and be aggressive. That doesn't give him the right just because she's a sexy woman to treat her in a negative manner because she's sexy. No, just because you sexy and your dress fits you, don't
But
mean you're being
but
provocative.
that's
okay, but let
see
me say this.
that's
It's a
where we get
fine
lost
line
at as men
between
because we look at it completely different. You shouldn't have had it on if you ain't want me to holler at you. You should have been with your
But that's
husband if you
also
ain't want me
but
to holler
see
at
that
you. You see what I'm
mindset
saying?
right
That's
there
just what it
is
is.
that's and I'm not saying nothing against you, but that mindset is a rapist mindset of saying you
No,
shouldn't have
indeed
had it
it's not.
on.
I'm not even gonna let you get on
That's
this
what they
podcast
say.
and use that kind of language for
But
me
that's what
to
they
be.
say.
What
You
you mean?
shouldn't have
That's
had
what they
that
no,
say.
on.
that's not what that no. Let me jump in
No,
here. That's not what they're saying. What it's saying is some women become I mean, some people
That comment
become
about you shouldn't have
their
had that on or
sexual
they shouldn't have been
attitude.
wearing that.
And as a woman, but let me say this, as a woman, I'm not gonna say I have like a misogynist perspective about it. But if I walk out the house half naked, I gotta say I have a dress on and I'm going out with my girlfriends. I'm going to a
Hmm.
nightclub. I got a dress on that does not require me to wear bra or drawers. The man can clearly see I don't have no bra on. I don't have no
Hmm.
drawers on. The dresses
Yeah.
fit me like it's my skin. So you're telling
Hmm.
me that I'm not looking for attention? I am looking for
You're
attention.
definitely
Now,
looking for
like I
attention.
said, sometimes you
You're
may
looking for
see the
attention. You're looking for attention,
you're
but that don't
looking
mean you're
for
looking
attention,
for the mentality of someone over sexualizing you.
but
That goes back to the
but the
concept of
thing
what I
is, you're
say,
at
because
that
just
point you're
because
over
someone is
sexualizing yourself. You over
this is why I don't
sexualizing
belong on these
yourself
type of
because
forums with this kind of conversation. They got too many people watching, and then I just get all the way out there, right? Because the truth of the matter is this: if you want a man to be conservative towards you, you should be conservative
mhm,
towards yourself. Soon as you cross a
conservative.
certain line,
So what do
we
you
as men
consider
too, and
conservative?
this is why I get in trouble because we now live in a society where
Hmm.
women voices are louder than men's, right? So if a woman says something
They
like you
should
just
be.
used the term, that's like a rapist mentality, right? So now that shuts us down completely. Oh wait,
It
you done
don't
used
shut
the
you
word
down. It's a
that
conversation
describes something that
of
so I don't want to have a conversation at all, period, because now I'm fearful that
it ain't
anything I say
fearful. You
Say
shouldn't be
again.
fearful. That's having understanding. The same way you can tell me something, it shouldn't be that way.
But I didn't use. But
We
when
do
I was telling
know
people and having an understanding,
historically,
I didn't use the
and
term rapist or
you
anything
did,
in nothing
you
I say.
didn't,
So the
you
language
didn't, but you
is
said
important
something.
now.
What you said was what people say when women are raped and they say, well, she shouldn't have had that on. It doesn't matter what you have on. It don't matter if you're naked.
That's
It
not that.
shouldn't
But that see.
happen.
All right,
Well,
we
You
gonna
the,
go
but
to the
you,
next topic. We
the,
gonna go to the next topic because I try to stay away from these kind of conversations, right?
but see,
Because it
that's
could be
the point. It
misconstrued.
shouldn't be a stigmatism of women and men talking about these subjects because that's what helps the understanding for people to be able to discuss these things and not sit up there and trip over it or women accusing men and all that stuff. This is about empowering everyone, not women or men, but everyone with understanding with each other.
You are right, but verbiage is everything. When I made a specific statement, right, like you shouldn't have had that on, your direct comeback was that's a rapist type mindset, right? So when you
I said
use that
that's a
verbiage
women's
towards something I just
mentality
said,
verb.
that listen,
You immediately
that
went into offense though,
yeah,
but
I
we
went into
know,
offense
but
because we
because
but we can't wait. Let me interject here because first I'm gonna correct this because just because a rapist does not even have in mind what the woman has on, so you can't say what a rapist mindset is because you don't know what that is. And then second of all,
no,
if a woman, let me finish my statement because that's not a rapist mentality. A rapist mentality is to have control
hmm
over his victim, and that is his sole
hmm
purpose. And
yeah,
if
we
he
know that's
feels and
about
he
power.
stakes
We
out
know that.
his victim can be running down the street fully clothed and have a fully
Yeah,
body
we
full
know
of
that.
clothes. That does not mean anything to him. He
hmm
becomes fixated with her
hmm
and follows her because in his sick mind,
hmm
he has fell in love and has become obsessed with that person. So
We know that.
that's a different mindset. But I think the thing is more moving towards is more of a misogynist is what I think you're trying to say for a man to say what a woman could wear and what they can't wear.
No,
Because you're
no,
right.
no, no.
Anybody
The
should be
statement.
able to walk down the street that, but no, but what he said was is that if a
She
woman
shouldn't have had
presents
that
herself
on.
in that way, she may get attention
No, he said
that
she
she may
shouldn't have
not
had
want, and
that
that's just
on.
the
I say if
reality of
she
it
don't
all.
like the attention that come with
She
what
shouldn't.
you had on, she
She
should not
shouldn't have
have
had it
that on.
on.
Because you have
She
to,
shouldn't have
I'm a
been
man,
wearing that.
right? And this is where I'm
And I
not
get it.
delusional
That
at.
is, but
And
you got to be willing to
I don't care
understand.
who watching this or who take offense to this when I
Hmm
say this, right? When you put
hmm
clothes on, you look in the
hmm
mirror. You know what you
hmm
look like. You know what that's
hmm
gonna attract when you walk out the door. And then you walk out the door anyway, and then get offended when it attracts what you knew it was gonna attract when you walk out the
Okay.
door. That does not make any sense to me. I'm a man. Guess what?
Okay.
When I put some clothes on and
Self
I
control.
halfway button my shirt up so you can see my chest and I put that bond number 9 on, right? I know
Hmm
instantly that when I walk through the club, certain women gonna look at me a certain kind of way, might even grab
hmm
me, might even touch me, right? I know that's what come along with it. I'm not going in there and I done set the trap pretty much. And then when somebody snare the trap, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe you touched me. The truth of the matter, if we gonna be honest, the attention that you getting is not from the people you want to get the attention from. That's
Mm-hmm.
hmm
most times when people get offended when people cat call them or whatever. Because guess what? I could cat call you and you highly offended, but then a cat pull up in a Bugatti in a $5,000 suit and cat call you and your whole attitude is different. You see what I'm saying? It's
All women aren't like that though. That's if my thing if what a guy's driving, because they have those skits where it is like the dude, that show that. But that's also once again on the downgrade of a see, that's a whole nother conversation. But I do want to
I
make a
must
point
have grew
about
up in a whole
but
different society than y'all grew up. And
but
I know all women
but
ain't like that, but we get on these topics all
but
the time on this thing. And I know two things for sure. that I grew up with and grew up dealing with, and guys I grew up dealing with, right? One thing we always
Mhm.
talk about on here is younger women and older men, right? When I feel like this, when
Mhm.
I was a young man in high school or whatever, the young girls didn't want to talk to me because they was chasing after the older dude who had the money, right? But now these same
Mhm.
girls is older and complaining about young girls messing with older dudes, right? Or vice versa, right? Then the second thing is just the sheer fact of why we just can't talk in reality. I know it ain't all women, but we are talking about
Mhm.
hypersexualization, right? So we talking about we seeing a
Uh-huh.
large number of women carrying themselves a certain kind of way. And guess what?
Mhm.
If a man has anything to say about it, right, it's a problem. It's a problem. If I say I don't like women who wear weave, right? Then all of a sudden, if I get on social media right now, we could run a
Mhm.
test, right? And I jump on there and say, man, I can't stand a woman who wear weave and makeup, right?
Mhm.
If it don't apply to you, don't say nothing. But I guarantee you, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna get 30, 40 comments and it's gonna spark a conversation, and women gonna be upset about that. But they could honestly say, I don't like dark-skinned men. And then other women back them up and say, well, that's your preference, girl. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
your
Right?
preference. But that's maturity though. To be able to say, yeah, the same way I've never wore weave. You're never. I've never I've never wore it. But at the same time, whatever someone likes, that's what they like. You know, that's just that. But I want to say I apologize if I offended you in me speaking without you allowing me to get to through speaking. We know a concept of that is what people say. People say they shouldn't have had that on. That's that concept is not that's not cool for me when people say, and that goes with that type of incidents. So it wasn't anything against you because I know that's not your mentality. I know that, but I know verbiage, like you say, verbiage matters. So when those things are said about situations, it's a bigger picture. It starts with that. Because my thing is, once again, I didn't say a woman walking naked or revealing. She can just have a nice shape and have on a nice dress, but it shows her body. That doesn't mean a man has to be aggressive toward her because she's sexy or whatever. That's what I'm saying. Like it's self control, it's self respect. We deal in a world where respecting others is kind of like out the door, and accountability for me comes with the concept of, yeah, it's a lot of women out there and men who don't love and respect themselves when we go into the hypersexual thing that we're talking about. So me, of good mind and conscience, I'm going to show people respect even when they don't respect themselves at times, and try to show them and talk to them, you know. So that comes down to accountability as a human being for me, you know. Once again, like when I said, where does the sexual, because for me, so let's talk about nudists or a nude beach or whatever. Because that's what we're talking about, being naked, less clothing, things of that nature. So if you're on a nude beach with a whole bunch of other naked people, so does that give someone the right to be, because they're naked, that means they want sexual advances? That's what they're choosing
Well,
to
no,
be.
because that's a community that chooses to be that way together. So that's two totally
No,
different
they got
things.
nude
And
beaches in
when women,
California and places where you could
but
just
when
go.
women dress a certain type, it's a community of people that have an agreement to exist in the same manner, which is totally different from if you go to a California nude beach. You're going on a beach
Mhm,
because you're very comfortable with your body. You don't
mhm.
have any hangups. Like you can walk just like the little show, naked. What is it? In the wilderness, naked. Those people was on
Naked
television,
and afraid.
but not one time, well, not one time was anything sexualized about the experience and what was going on. So it's all about how you
Okay.
put it out there. It's just like I know a lot of people that's had body surgery. And I know people
Mhm.
that work on their bodies. And some people feel like the better their body look, the more their skin they gonna show. I need you to leave a little bit to the imagination. Everybody don't need to know where all the moles are on your body. Some of that stuff is personal. When I know some people that have beautiful, they shape beautifully, they dress
Mhm.
accordingly to where they're going. I've never seen their body parts out except for when I'm going to the beach or to a swimming pool with them. So
Mhm.
it's a such thing as being classy, and you can be classy and sassy and sexy, and you can be trashy with it. And if
Mhm.
you out there half naked, everything you got on, every time you come out in the street, I could see your ass. Because when I was young, I used to wear the little hot girl shorts too. I was slim, trim, and I was sexy, slim, sexy. And I liked the, but you couldn't see the cheeks of my behind. I didn't have half of my butt showing, letting everybody know I don't have no
But that's a
underwear
going
on,
theme
and
nowadays.
things like that. I mean, we liberated as it
That's
is,
a
but I
that's
mean,
like
Well,
that's the
I mean,
norm.
we're liberated women now, and
That's
that's
the
why
norm.
the
Having your ass
respect
hanging
is
out.
not there from the men because but it's not the norm for everyone, and I think it's the people with it, what we want to call it, like they have exceptional women and they have those women that do anything for anything by any means necessary to get where they want to get. So just because you have had a BBL, I mean, you have every right to wear your tight clothes, the way you're revealing body because you done paid thousands of dollars for your body. But me as a female, not saying that I'm uncomfortable with it because I'm not uncomfortable with a woman's body, but it also alters the view of how other men look at me when I'm out. If I want to dress a certain kind of way, so it is over sexualizing themselves to get the attention because, for number one, we all have to do what we need to do to make ourselves feel good. But again, I
Mhm.
think it has a lot to do with, so right now it's about, is this empowering or is this more of them self-exploiting themselves? But because if you walking around with short skirts on, you stoop over, I can see you got a thong on, you don't have no drawers on, you or you out with a man, your skirt or dress so short, or he gotta lift it up. What you telling me is you ready for the bed. That's what you telling me. You coming outside half naked every day. If I was a man, in today's society still, and even in old society, like any
Mhm.
self-respecting woman, because first of all, you talking about respect, first you got to have respect for yourself for other people to treat you with respect. And any woman that have any
Some
dignity
people
about
weren't raised
themselves,
in that. Some people wasn't raised in that at all. Some people weren't raised in that.
you don't have to be raised
So,
in it, because
so yeah, yes,
I
you
feel
do.
like the
You have to
streets
be.
raised
You got to
me.
be taught self worth. You have to be taught self worth. But if you're born into a family where people have treated you like shit your whole life, ain't showed you no love, ain't showed you no caring, no, you don't have no self worth. You don't have no self respect. You don't have no self love. So people who are enlightened and know better are the ones who actually either have to care enough to try to, speak life and love into these other people. Because obviously, if people are out here just showing their ass and out, it's a reason why, and we know that. No self love, no self respect. Because once again, like you said, you wore short shorts, I wore short shorts. I ain't never had my ass hanging out. Never. Never. But I said that's the norm because that's all I see young girls doing now. And some older women as well.
Older
Like
women,
I
man,
see
that's the
I
ones that
see
get me right there. I, I
I see
I'm so not worried about the young girls, but I am worried about the women in my age bracket that's trying to keep up with the young girls. You know, it
so
that
you
doesn't
see
make any sense.
women in your age bracket dressing like that as well.
Absolutely. I'm
Mm,
yeah.
gonna say this. It's more women in my age bracket that 45 to 55 that's running going to get the surgeries, right? So
yeah,
they done had 3 children or so, and they done dealt with the little baby thing for 10 years now, whatever. Now the children almost out the way or whatever. They go take out whatever loan they want to take out or
to
whatever,
get the
go get
body.
the surgery done, right? And after they get the surgery done, they want you to see that they fine. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? Right?
So
They
they're
want you
doing
to
it for
see they
men.
like. just said
They're
I
doing it
done
for
spent
men,
these
right?
$15,000. Excuse me.
They're doing it for men, right? Because they want the
Don't let
attention
them
from
say it.
men.
They're not doing it for men. They're doing it for themselves, for their own self-esteem. Like I've had these kids. I lost my shape because I had the kids. So now,
Mm-hmm.
this is my opportunity to get it back. I'm all right with that. What
Mm-hmm.
I'm not all right with, and I'm just gonna be honest, right? I don't want you. I never holler at women in the club that's provocatively dressed. Right? Never in my
Mm-hmm.
life have I been that dude that I holler at women that's provocatively dressed. Am I gonna look?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm gonna look, right? If you got it hanging out.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at you and you dress like that, then what I have on my mind, right, is just that. And then
Mm-hmm.
that's how I'm going to come at you, right? Which will be perceived as disrespectful, right? So therefore, I don't even holler at them type of women because another thing is I don't see you being my girlfriend or my wife. Because if you dress like that when I met you, that means you're going to want to continue to dress like that, right? And
Yeah.
at a certain point, it's like, where you going? You see what I'm saying? You already caught the big whale. What you trying to catch now? You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But once again, we live in a society where a man can't say nothing about a woman. No dislike, no
But if that was
discomfort,
your
no
wife,
nothing.
but Bryson, if that was your wife or your girlfriend, I mean, and she had a nice body and you paid for the body, would you
I'm
care if
not
she
paying
dressed
for
like that?
nobody. Not no, don't get me wrong. I've had a body female before, right? And depending on where we was going, right? Because you was gonna have it all out there anyway. I learned, and let me say this: she was not dressing like that when I got with her, right? When I got
Okay.
with her, she wasn't dressing like that. But after she went and had the surgery, oh my goodness, everything got tight. You see what I'm saying, right? And the excuse was, well, I can't find nothing to fit me since I had the surgery, right? So my thing was,
Oh.
wear a balloon dress then. You see what I'm saying? Like wear some jeans, like the most sexy outfit on the planet to me, right? Is a pair of jeans with a nice I don't know what y'all call them, a nice blouse, a sports coat, and some heels. Boy, if you got on a sport coat and some heels, you probably could empty my bank account, right? But that's just me though. So to answer your question, Keisha, there have been times when I was with my ex that I picked the outfit out depending on where we was going, right? And say, here, I got this for you.
Mhm.
And it was some tight stuff or whatever. But in my mind, you dressing like that regardless if I say something or not. So if you're gonna do it anyway, I might as well indulge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I bought that see-through joint right there. So when we go to this Nas concert, I could look like I'm with a half-naked supermodel because you dress like that anyway. Because every time I
But
challenge
I
the
mean,
dress,
did you?
huh?
So you say you didn't like it,
I
but
didn't,
but you
but
just
every
wasn't.
time I challenged it, I got made to feel like I was tripping or being insecure some kind of way, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this, and yeah, I don't care. So she used to like to wear tights, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and you wearing tights, certain parts are popping out, right? And
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, you got them tights on, bro. Like I can see the work. You know what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you want me to do is like that. Well, maybe I don't wear the tights. So now we walking through the mall, and I'm watching men walk
Yeah.
towards us, and their
Mm,
eyes are zoomed in on your private parts. And then
Mm.
once they look up and see me, they're like, "Oh, my bad, partner." You see what I'm saying? And I'm telling her, like, dude, see what I'm telling you? So what if I was
She
an
wanted the
ignorant man?
attention, though. I mean, you learned, obviously, you're not
yeah.
with her anymore, that she wanted attention. She wasn't happy with herself, regardless. So she still needed attention from other people. She wasn't content at all
But
at the end of the day.
I would say that to be the case with most women who have surgery.
Yeah, I believe you as
You know
well.
But
what I'm saying? Right? They don't want you
yeah,
I
to
I
agree.
say it,
mean,
but I view that with most women who had surgery because this same lady before she had the surgeries, I was like, girl, you yeah. But boy, I had these four girl that little stuff right there with them faux churn, and that's all you got right there, girl. And look at the rest, girl. You is beautiful, girl. You is sexy. You is fine. But in
Mhm.
her mind, she
Mhm.
wasn't. You know what I'm
But
saying?
that
And she's
comes
not
to the
the only one I
brainwashing.
encountered like that.
That comes to
Mm-hmm.
the brainwashing of society of what people feel they should look like. You understand
A Barbie
what
doll.
what they feel. Yet, but
Mm.
that goes into the self worth of wanting to change their eye color, wanting to change, because we can't. We're in a society where at one point beauty was on the concept of Anglo-Saxon,
Right,
blue-eyed, and the straight hair. And that pushed a lot of people to even, skin bleaching, wanting to have the different color eyes, reason why I mean, shoot, for a long time, like I was still getting that relaxer and trying to have the hair straight and all that until I was like, it's not getting to the roots of knowing that's not healthy. I want my hair to be to the natural state. And that came with me becoming spiritual and all those things, to the mindset of no, I'm not putting that stuff in my hair no more. I'm not doing that anymore because I know it's not good for me. And the concept of my hair having that natural, just me going power to source, change that about me with that.
right.
But we we live in a society that we have been told what is supposed to be beautiful to us. And like I said, the women, yeah, they'll say they're not doing it for men, but they
But
are. They are.
I
They
think we
they
they
all
most
doing it for each
definitely
other.
are.
I'd say we all doing it
Mm.
for each other. Because if I had my way, if it would not be for women, I'd never get a haircut. You know what I'm saying? I would never get a
Mhm.
haircut. Like, to be honest, I get a haircut so I could be cute. So when women look at me, I could be cute, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I would never care about driving a luxury car. You know what I'm saying, right? If it wasn't, give me a Prius. It's gonna get me back
Mhm.
and forth where I need to go. You know what I'm saying,
So
right?
how do we change
Mm.
the concept of getting back to the roots of what really should matter?
I mean, honestly, I'm starting to think we too far gone at this point.
There's
I
always hope.
think
We're
so
never
too.
we're no. I rebuke that. Shit.
I
We
think
dealing with
I think
we have to be able to grow and because that means you're taking away total hope of understanding that things can change, and but that comes with the fact of teaching better. You understand? Look how society, if you go through history and look how things have changed. Some things are totally for the better, 100% for the better. But the concept for our people to be downtrodden and split and all this superficial things that we put before each other, like you said, if needing a luxury car, like me, I'm so damn frugal. Like, I don't care if I have $1 million. If I feel like something costs too much, I'm not finna spend it, and I don't care. Like, that's just, but that comes with self worth and not caring about what other people think, because you'll go broke trying to please somebody else or trying to keep up with somebody, and they don't care about you any goddamn way.
they
Like,
don't, but some of
so,
us have addictions where we spend money
hmm
because that's a part of our addiction. So I don't think it has
yeah,
anything to do with um because they have such things as mental illness where you can have hyperactivity, be
hmm
hyperactive in other areas of your life, and
hmm
spending because you're in a manic mood can be one of them. So
yeah,
um so it's just not, I don't think some of us, now I like to look good, I like to smell good because that's what
hmm
I like to do for myself. I've always smelled good and looked good. And a lot of our childhood traumas play a major part in how we try to fit into society. So
hmm
because I only had two pair of pants and two shirts and one pair of shoes for the first week of school every
hmm
year until I
hmm
started working on my own, I've made a promise to myself that I was never not going to have enough shoes and enough clothes to wear. So you know what I overindulge in? shopping.
Shopping. Mm-hmm.
Never have enough shoes and I never have enough clothes, and I get tired of clothes fast. Like I
I'm the
always
same
gotta
way.
look fresh.
I'm the same way.
So
I'm the
yeah, so
same way. But I'm a clear. But at the same time, about buying is versus the fact of buying overpriced things to keep up with other people. I'm a clearance shopper. I'm a that type. But people are coming in my because I have to have. I literally need a whole room to be my closet, and they'll come in like, oh, it's a store in there, because and for now with me working from home. I don't have the opportunity to wear clothes like I used to. Like I used to have to go in the office and, you know, go like, but I don't no more. But I still have that same habit of like, oh, that's nice. Oh, let me get that. That's a great price. It got to be a great price. But like this week, I was like, oh, I want those shoes, and I'm like, girl, and but I had to put my mind like, girl, you got four new pair of shoes you've never worn. You understand? But that's just the mentality of
yeah, and but I
certain
think a lot
people.
of why some women dress the way they dress too is because I think now in today's society, the less clothes we have, the more feminine we appear. Because even when you see
Hmm.
transgender men, they are
Hmm.
hypersexually dressed. I mean, they hypersexualize the vision of a female as well because they wear tight clothes. They got the boobs, they got the
Hmm.
tight dresses on. So
Hmm.
it hypersexualize what a female should look like as well. So that portrays
Yeah,
like the less clothes you're able to wear, the more feminine that you are, and that's not true because I don't think you
that's
have to have all your
absolutely
body
not
out
true.
to be feminine, to be in a
So
feminine
tell me
woman.
this: what do you think about with um dance with children? Okay, and they make sure they doll them up with the makeup and things of that nature. See, for me, I feel like they're sexualizing children when they do that, because I'm like,
They
for
are. They
dancers,
are.
yeah, because I'm
I
just
never
like,
looked at it like they were sexualizing them, but I do always look at it like, why y'all trying to push these little girls to be grown, right?
exactly,
Like,
that's
I,
it. Like
I
I'm
don't
like, what's the
understand why
point?
women these days are putting weave in their little girls' hair. Like,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
everything has an excuse. You see what I'm saying? Everything has an excuse. Oh, I do it because the other children at school, they parents doing it, so I don't want my child to feel a kind
To
of way,
feel left
right?
out.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
Man,
man,
because it's
being
peer
whatever.
followers.
pressure.
Yeah, but that. Oh, yeah, we live in a society of, yeah.
Like,
But
I don't
That we
I
see a
ain't giving up the
reason
hope.
for a
I ain't
little
giving up the
boy.
hope. I'm not giving up the hope. I'm not giving up the hope.
Right.
I'm not
Like
giving up the hope.
our whole society and everything is just so turned upside down right now, right? Like, I
But
remember when I
and
had
don't
my
say.
sons, right?
Uh-huh.
I kept them in Oshkosh Bigosh and
Mhm.
Gap and dressed them like
Mhm.
little boys.
Yeah.
Now they dress the little boys like I dress. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying, right? And they think
Yeah.
it's cute. Everything
And
creates a mindset. They dress their little girls like adult women. You know what I'm
but
saying,
it's
right?
Mhm.
generations. But I'll tell you this: my daughter's 24. When she was a child, that's why I say it's what they push. This is we're talking 20 some years ago. I couldn't find shorts and stuff that were childlike. I had to search for appropriate clothes for her. You understand? And that was 20 some years. So this over sexualizing of our girls is not something new. We know that as a whole, but I had to go to places like JC Penney's, like I had to go. I really had to Old Navy, like, and then still look through to make sure. Okay, the shorts are long enough. The shirt is, even though a child shouldn't be sexualized, looked at in that mindset, but you are gonna be like, okay, I don't want my baby with her shorts all the way up here. I don't want, and that's me. You understand? That's me. But you do have women who are okay with that. And I don't necessarily think they are trying to sexualize their girls, but if that's the cheapest and the easiest thing to grab, that's what they're gonna buy. And that's
Just
what's there
buy
to put
just
out
buy
there.
dresses and bloomers then. Buy long dresses and bloomers. I say all the time, at one point I wanted a daughter, right? But then now that I'm older, I'm glad I don't. Because I would have been
Yeah,
considered a horrible father, right? Because some stuff I just would not be tolerating. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah.
Well,
just not tolerating it, right?
my
But
Even
daughter
now in my
okay, but
is
personal
that
life,
I'm a
kind of
like some
daddy.
stuff I'm just not tolerating.
I'm gonna say this.
See,
Historically, I mean, we're dealing with this stuff right now. We live in a society where they have always sexualized children. They have married little girls off. They have done those things. Us as a people, we know clear people, that's their thing. And not, that ain't against all. We know I ain't talking about all, but we know they have been strong about, oh, 14, 13, 14. That's prime to them, you know, and that has been a standard in our
I mean, it
society.
depends on
But
the culture too. But you have to be culturally competent to kind of understand some things, right? Because
mm-hmm,
mm-hmm.
we got Vietnamese people that live right here in the United States with us, right? But you don't see
mm-hmm,
they little girls dressing like that. They find the
Not even
clothes.
their
They,
women.
no,
yeah,
no,
exactly, right? So some stuff we embracing as a culture, right? And
uh-huh,
we can't blame
Mm-hmm.
nobody but ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because the flip side to this conversation is this, right? So we talking about young girls, young ladies being exploited, right? So we
mm-hmm,
gonna say they
mm-hmm.
have absence of fathers in the home, right? But guess what? I don't care if I'm in the home or out the home, and I gotta go blow for blow with my baby mama. My daughter
Mm-hmm.
ain't wearing that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Call the
Yeah,
police, call the judge, call whoever you want call, right? My
yeah.
child ain't wearing that, right? But once
You're
again,
right. But how many
men
fathers are
have,
like that?
yeah, but the vast
My daughter
majority of
daddy was
men
like
these
that.
days, huh?
I said, Asha daddy is like that. Like, we ain't wearing no holy shorts. We ain't wearing no tank tops without a jacket. We not coming outside with none of our skin showing and overly exposed. Our shorts got to be a certain length before we walk out the house. So I shot, I mean, she's 24 too. I shot that Old Navy. I shot, you can find some really cute clothes at Walmart if you look. And back then they used to have all the little cute. You can shop reasonably and still dress your child like a child. That's why they make barrettes and ribbons. So they can look
Them
like a
shorts was
Exactly.
girl.
too short
Which
for them
you don't
shorts was
see
too short
anymore.
for me at Walmart.
You know,
That was too
when
So
short
the
for
last
me.
time you really saw a little girl with bow and ribbons in her hair?
hmm, I haven't
You-
seen that in a while, but it's not what you do, it's how
Miss
you do it.
Shirley.
And even though the shorts was short, or
Miss
whatever. She
Shirley.
still had on her little sandals that came from Red Goose at the time. Them little, I forgot what you call them little sandals that all the little children wear. She had her little sandals on and she had shoes on. She had bulls, what you call the little ruffle socks. If she wore
Mm-hmm.
dresses, she put shorts under the dresses, whether the dress was long or not. So
Mm-hmm.
her daddy didn't play that, and he definitely didn't play that shaking, popping, and dancing. He saw
Yes,
her
ain't
trying
doing
to
that
twerk
either.
one time, and he
Ain't
almost
doing that
knocked her
either.
off the bed. So he definitely didn't play that stuff.
I say this to people in my private conversations all the time, right? And our generation, and I feel like this, I feel like our generation failed the generation behind us on certain aspects. But then we want to turn around and complain about them, right? Because we talking about a younger
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
generation that's overly
yeah.
sexualized themselves, but who
Mm-hmm.
raised them? Who raised them?
Exactly.
Or who did not
Exactly.
raise them that should have
That's it
raised them?
right
You see
there.
what I'm saying? Right? So
But
that's why I
that's what I was
personally,
talking about, accountability of
yeah,
understanding some people weren't raised the way they should have. So that's why they're that way. They don't have self-worth. They don't even have a concept of, it's like they can't even comprehend the vibration's so low, they can't comprehend what we're saying. Like, oh, that's all they know. If that's all you know, how do you fault a person for living that way? How do you fault them for living how the only way they know, the only
Because
thing
I
they've been
mean, at a
surrounded
certain point,
around?
though, with us all, right? My mom
Mm.
raised me to be a spiritual young man. I grew up in
Uh-huh.
church. I knew right from wrong, right? But when
Uh-huh.
I got a certain age, I did what I wanted to do, right?
You're
So
right.
what I'm trying to say is this: at a certain point, you looking around, you know if you out of
Mm.
bounds or not. You just
Nope.
making a real decision to be like, this is just the way I am. And if you can't accept me like this, it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
know, I don't speak on my situation often, right? But the situation I just was in, right? I knew what I was doing and I knew it was wrong. But my desperation outweighed my morality. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
made a
But you got
decision not to.
morality. Some of them don't have morality. They don't have no compass for that. Don't have a
Right.
compass of that at all. I mean, we're talking about children who were raised in the trap, children who were sold for drugs.
I'm
Ain't
glad you
nobody
said
ever
that, right?
protect them. Nobody ever loved them. So once they get grown, what do you mean? Like, oh, the morality of? No, they know what they know. That's it.
And that's another thing too. Like, who see this we just be veering off topic. But that's another thing, though. When you take spirituality out of things, you start
Mhm.
losing a moral compass. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And we
Mhm.
started
Mhm.
taking spirit. Like, listen, I know a bunch of people that went to church with me. I went to church from the time I was born till 12, 3 times a week, right? But I
Yeah,
know a bunch
me
of
too.
my peers that grew up like that. They turned away from church when they
Mhm.
got a certain age, right?
Okay.
So that means
I'm
their children
spiritual,
wasn't
but
going to
I'm
church.
not a Christian. I'm not a Christian. I believe in God. I'm
But it
spiritual. I
doesn't
was
matter.
raised
Are
Methodist.
you
I was
teaching
raised
that?
Methodist in the church. Like you said, my mom used to play the piano. I mean, like really in there. But as I learned God myself, as I read that book a few times myself, front to back, that's what made me closer to God, not to the church. So
So, but the
when you
thing
say
about that
spiritual,
is, a lot of people say and feel like you feel, right?
hmm
But are you still teaching your child the principles? You see what I'm
oh
saying? And a lot
hell
of
yeah.
people, they too
I mean,
busy to teach the principles.
my child, I feel when
See,
it comes to God, she's going to be better off than me because, my grandma and them took me to church. You understand? They didn't teach me about relationship with God. They didn't teach me the things that I needed to know. They took me to church, but they taught me what they knew, what was pushed on them. So they didn't have the access to what I have to have the research of history and know what books was what and the other books was written and European influence and all those things that took me away from feeling that I never felt that I was but I know I wasn't born in sin. I was born in love. I'm one with God. So it's a lot of concepts of things for me for spirituality is that versus when you say spirituality talking about like church and
And
everything.
see, I like how this conversation went, right?
Mhm.
Because it still goes back to what I'm trying to say. What are we teaching morals and values and stuff in the
Mhm.
home consistently, right?
Mhm.
To
Yeah.
put morality in our children when we not going the alternative route that we was raised it with, right? And most
Mhm.
people, right, don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't. It's so you
Them same women
unconsciously,
in them
and I'm
coochie
not
shorts
talking
be
about
at church
you
on Sunday.
unconsciously. We are not instilling
Yes.
serious morals and values in our children before we send them out there in the world. You see what I'm
And that's
saying?
it. We're not teaching them
Mhm.
love and humanity and kindness and caring. Um, but that's learned behavior. Like you said, us, our level of in our age, we're on different plateaus than some of people of our age. It's all about environments and what people are brought up around, you know, because like my house,
Mhm.
yes, I can teach. And I mean, I have adopted two girls over here in New Orleans because y'all know I'm from Birmingham. I've been here for 3 years. Those are my adopted daughters. And just hearing their life story. And the thing is, I hear that so much. I have so many um theses about how things have been done to the people here in New Orleans and purposely. Um, but just listening to how they were raised and what they've been exposed to. And this story is the norm, lack of parenting, lack of so much, lack of love,
Mm-hmm.
you know, lack of just people caring, period. So, but I saw that as well when I was a teenager in New York living in the projects. I experienced a girl, she was a few years older than me, but her mom sold her to a to a dealer by the time she was 10. You understand? And my thing is we are dealing with so much of that where it's no way out for them. They have no understanding until somebody may come along and try to show them love and try to show them better. So that's why I always say I don't judge, you know, at all, because we know the reason why people act and behave. It's deeper
Mm-hmm.
things. It's deeper.
Yeah, that is not, I mean, and I think, as women, we all beautiful in
Mhm.
our own way. And we all have something to contribute. But my only
Mhm.
concern
Mhm.
is when we think that the only way that we can be seen or our voices can be heard is if we have our titties hanging out, our ass hanging out, or we have to dress provocatively to get the attention and be heard the way we want to be heard and the way we want to be seen as women. So that is the message that I just want to give out because we
Yeah.
think by our time is nearing. So I just want to put this out there. There's nothing wrong with body surgery. There's nothing wrong with fixing the things about your body that you don't like, because not only do women do that, men do that too. But
Mhm.
you don't
Fix your
have to.
insides first.
You got to fix your
Period.
insides first, because
Inside
that's the most
first.
important thing, to be
Fix.
healed on the inside from all of that
Yes.
mess and junk that we've experienced as women. Because
Yes.
it first, like I said, was
Me too.
self-respect, and then
Yes.
yeah, men too. It's self-respect, and in order to get respect, you have to be respectable of yourself. And although you don't know, I think at a certain age, you know the difference between right and wrong. And some of us may be that damaged inside to feel like, and society has normalized so many dysfunctional
Right,
behaviors that we as
right.
Yeah.
humans have. Like you can know a killer, and you gonna normalize that behavior by interacting with that person like he does absolutely nothing wrong, when you know yesterday he went in somebody's house and killed him. So that's the kind
Mm.
of things we do in society, that we block out the things about people
Okay.
just so we can have the type of relationship we have with them.
But did
So
that
next
person
week,
deserve to die? Did they deserve to die?
I
See,
knew you
that's a
lying to
whole
me.
nother story. See, that's another
yeah, baby,
conversation.
that's a whole nother story. We ain't even talking about that, but I'm talking about how they normalize society, how
I
they
know.
normalize this crazy ass behavior from people, where they think that, I mean, we all think that our way of living is right. But y'all made a valid point
Mm-mm.
about knowing God and being in church, because if you know God, then you know what's
Mm-hmm.
of God. I mean, we stray away sometimes, but we know what's of God and what's not. And if you find yourself
Hmm.
always feeling like you're not happy unless you have the attention that you're getting from a man or a woman, or you're not getting all that attention and likes matter to you, and
Yeah,
you're dressing and doing whatever you need to do to get those likes, then that's something you need to work on the inside, because that's like really low.
absolutely.
We
But
have some
but how
esteem
many
issues.
people
So
are
next
happy
week
with just
we gonna talk about, huh?
I said, but
What
how
you
many
said,
people
man?
are just happy with them and God alone? See, that's a concept that when you can be happy and in tune with you and God alone, that's when all of that is everything else doesn't matter. That
Well, I said that
understanding.
everything falls in.
Yep.
Yeah, everything
I
falls in
agree.
place when you have a relationship with God.
I agree.
Mhm.
And that's just the way of life, baby. Like
Yeah.
the world could turn 1,000 times around. As long as you have that relationship with God, everything else falls in place. You don't need to seek love. You don't need to seek
Uh-huh.
validation. You don't need to
Or
seek
attention.
approval from anybody because
Mhm.
what you are is enough. So, and you start to recognize that when you have that relationship and that spiritual relationship of whoever you
Mhm.
believe in and whatever you believe in. So next week we gonna get on. We gonna because Bryson said he'll go another topic that men, women, or whatever. So I'm gonna let him come up with a topic next week, and then I want to talk about our Katrina stories at some point. But Mel says she don't want to hatch that. So
I was in tears last night watching
the
Katrina
Katrina
race.
story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm enraged. I've always been enraged with this country anyway, but it's just I don't know. It's that's why I say that it runs so deep at so many levels. It's
Baby,
yeah.
I got a good old
If you're
funky
gonna do a
Katrina
Katrina
story for
thing,
y'all.
I definitely won't participate in that because what people don't talk about in this city is this generation we dealing with are basically a bunch of Katrina babies, right? So
Yes.
Mm,
that's a
Yes.
lot of trauma and PTSD to be to
all
lose
exactly.
everything, to have to go to
Exactly.
another
Yes.
city, be treated like you're a
Uh-huh.
refugee, right? To come back to
Less
poverty,
than
no
a
jobs, no
citizen.
this, no that. I mean, that's a
Mhm.
recipe for disaster in itself, right there. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
and then bring us back under those conditions. But but we could talk about that more in depth because, like I said, I got a good old
Yeah.
funky Katrina story. So y'all can catch us on YouTube at K Read to Be, Facebook and IG KPR Productions LLC. And I'll see y'all next Wednesday with a juicy topic and some more controversy on here. So we'll talk. I'll call y'all back later. Good night.
all right.
Good
Night.
night. Be safe. Love and light, y'all.
Good night.